I like salami.
5, 4, Alice. Be mature.
Stop it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, ready? 5, 4, 3, 2,
I'm leaving all
1.
this in.
All right, Alice.
Hi,
All
honey.
right, barely 10 minutes late. Everybody thank Alice. Are you all set, Princess? Do you look pretty enough?
I do look pretty. Thank you.
Okay. Do you have your Truly or your?
I do. Just one. It's early.
And did you see that I retweeted your tweet?
I didn't see that. I
Oh,
was
look, I
rushing to
retweeted
get
it.
ready. I don't like that.
Okay. How are you?
I am.
You said you were stressed out.
I
You
am
texted
stressed
me.
out,
Why are you
yes.
stressed out?
Because, there's 1,000 things that need to get done.
So you were asking about this pullover. I got this at the Gap, I believe, in the year of our Lord, right when we were new, probably. I think I got it with Dan McKenna
2010?
when I needed. We were doing the walk for hunger, the bar crawl for hunger then, and I needed another layer. So I think that's when I got this. All right, Alice, what does it mean to you? Michael J. Pence now has documents found at his place. His lawyers say.
Well, I believe I said a week or two ago that I think all these people, they could get on having mishandled classified information because they're all around a ton of it all the time. They probably can get anybody on that stuff.
Okay, maybe that's true. Maybe they can.
That's part of how the deep state controls people. That's my opinion.
Perhaps you're right about that. Well, then, knowing that, and Michael J. Pence being somebody who's careful enough to not... What's happening here? To not...
It's just, I think it's fine now.
Check. Being somebody who doesn't even go to dinner with a woman who's not his wife, you would figure he would be a little more careful when answering reporters' questions.
Did you take any classified documents with you from the White House?
I did not.
Do you see any reason for anyone to take classified documents with them leaving the White House?
Well, there'd be no reason to have classified documents, particularly if they were in an unprotected area.
There were classified documents, and they were in, as you report, an unprotected area.
Did you take any classified documents with you from the White House?
Crap. Okay.
I did not.
Okay.
Do you see any reason for
So you don't
anyone?
need my recording, do you?
No.
Because I just stopped the recording. So I just started it again. Nobody will notice. They'll just wonder what that was. But so now it won't sync up with you. But it doesn't matter.
I don't think I need it.
So what is this? What is happening in front of us right now? Is the next step here? Is this mean that we start disqualifying people from national office, or does this mean we have a chat about overclassification of documents and then make this whole thing a misdemeanor and wipe our hands and learn better? Why are you smirking?
I'm thinking about Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh, okay.
Did you listen to any of that
I
today?
did.
So, but because what you're saying essentially is, Whoopi said today basically what you're saying. Do we need to reevaluate how meaningful this is? Because, they can declassify them anyway.
To be in full disclosure,
Whoopi
Whoopi said everything today.
It's not that big a deal,
There are
basically.
3 versions of classified documents. They're confidential documents. That's something that could be expected to damage national security if disclosed. Then there is top secret, which is information that could be expected to cause exceptionally grave damage. And then there's
the Donald Trump version that means
Then
you
there's
have
whatever Donald Trump had.
Exactly, which is worse than all of the
They
others.
had nuclear.
Yep.
secret information, which is expected to cause serious damage to national security if disclosed. Now,
those are the levels.
Those are the
3
levels.
Mm-hmm.
Presidents and vice presidents can declassify these.
No, I believe that's wrong already.
Yeah, I thought it was just
Yes.
president.
Vice
but
president-
she's willing to extend it to vice president.
She's throwing it right out there.
With their brains, there is You have to go. There is something that you go.
In other words, not in the way that Trump did.
Right. Where he just said it's declassified.
Right. She has no evidence that Biden did whatsoever, and we have no evidence that he's able to. And certainly, a senator is neither a president nor a vice president. But this is the effort. This is really.
She's willing to speculate on his behalf that not only would he be allowed to, but that he did actually go through the process and properly declassify the documents.
This is somebody who is having a mental health episode. That's what this is. She is just simply trying to reckon in her mind what she needs to be true. She needs it to be true. Need this validation because she's not the greatest thing in the world unless he's the worst thing in the world. And that's the only validation she has because I guess she doesn't believe in God or any other way of showing her self-worth as something. So this is what she needs. I need this to work out for me. So a bank shot this kind of classification, unclassified. This was consensual not in Florida. It has, okay, I can work with that. This is just somebody looking for a fix. Is it not?
Yes. She's like, I just need it to be true that Trump did something really bad and Biden didn't.
Through before it's declassified. But this order came, it was expanded right after that George Bush put it into place because George Bush made it so presidents.
A note to the ABC, The View producers, don't give her stuff anymore. She doesn't know how to compile it. She doesn't know what it means. She's throwing it out there. She's already misinterpreting it. This is like, just let her be stupid. And we'll move to the next person after that.
Yeah, don't try and give her like backgrounders on topics.
Whoopi doing her best F. Lee Bailey is not good. It doesn't work well.
Could declassify. Obama stretched it to make it vice presidents. So I wish they would say.
Do you think Obama said, you know what? You know who really needs to be seeing this and really having possession of this?
I think Joe Biden should be able to declassify documents, said Obama.
You know what? Let Joe do it.
All that while they're explaining what's going on. Because if you say, a classified document, everybody goes, oh, my God, how dare he keep that?
Yeah, especially if you were watching The View 2 months ago.
And if these guys can declassify, presidents and vice presidents can't declassify, are we chasing our tail with some of this?
Of course, then Alyssa Farah Griffin kind of, like, the rest of the people there, like Alyssa Farah Griffin couldn't really, like, let this fully slide.
Yeah, she's like, there's a chance I may have to get another job once America realizes how stupid this show is, so I better get on the record of doing something.
Well, but that's a very good point, but I think it has to be true for Trump and for Biden. So if for President Biden to be able to declassify something, there has to be evidence he did, in fact, declassify it, which is the thing that Trump's trying to argue. I declassified it. Right, well, there's no evidence.
He did it with his. He didn't go through the process. He'd say he did with his mind.
But is Biden saying he even did
I don't think Biden's saying that yet. And I think what I'm frustrated by is how kind of brazen and dismissive President Biden has been of this, because he said it went from, anyone could be irresponsible, but I have no regrets. There's no there to, but it was locked up next to my Corvette. I mean, this, as you said, is a very serious matter. One top secret document means a grave risk to national security, and it's a bad fact pattern for.
Okay, want to hear Whoopi come back?
I think we're going to find more documents. It's at some point, I think he needs to say, there may be more. I open up any residence I've been in to be searched. But cooperation doesn't negate the fact that he had these wrongly in the first place.
Well, we don't know that he had them wrong. We don't know. We don't.
Wow.
This is the stuff. Trying to find the word. What's the word? This is the thing about this.
He's been in public service for a very long time.
Methuselah child.
Yes, a very long time.
Is that an exoneration? He's been in public service for a very long time?
Could happen to anyone, honey.
He's been in public service for a very long time. You would think that meant that he wouldn't have any documents.
Right, that he would know how to handle them.
He's expected to be breaking the law. He's been doing this for years. He's expected to be absolutely flouting the law as a senator for a very long time.
And I was troubled when I saw, oh, you have stuff from when you were a senator too?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, he was a senator for a long time. But what I am struggling with is not necessarily the levels of classification. I'm not necessarily struggling with the fact that I do think he's been a little bit unapologetic, a little bit perhaps cavalier in his response, because he realizes that Trump was flushing stuff down the toilet, and we're talking about 300 versus maybe 15, and intent is really important. So I don't think you can compare at all the...
That's not what Biden is saying. He realized that Trump was flushing stuff down the toilet. This is another some speculative piece of crap that somebody said. And
every insane blue wave Twitter thing. I'm surprised they haven't said yet that he like buried secret documents in Ivana's coffin or whatever.
Remember
Do you
Trump?
remember they were doing that for a while?
Yes. Remember Putin gave him a soccer ball?
I don't remember.
In
that.
Stockholm. Isn't that where they met? Oh, Helsinki?
Maybe.
And Trump, like, I think from the podium, like, threw it to Melania. But I'm surprised that's not a bigger thing. Putin literally gave him a soccer ball, and he accepted it.
Criminal liability between the two. But I do have a problem with the process. Why is it that the process is either not ironclad, or they don't know it, or they don't understand it? We've both worked for the government. I could never take something out of a grand jury secret area and take it home without either getting fired or getting someone killed. And I know you've had the same experience. And so, and I was a low-level U.S. attorney. I like to think I was somebody, but I was just what they call a line assistant and a supervisor. So my question is, Biden, Trump, everybody now, Vice President Harris becomes a suspect. Well, what do you have at your house?
The good thing is, in the case of Vice President Harris, I tend to doubt she took anything home.
Yeah.
I doubt it. I don't think she cracked it.
Yeah, she's never actually read a classified document.
Sarah Haynes.
The part that jumped out at me is you had a former president, that's one person. Then you have a vice president, because clearly it was extended to a vice president.
Yeah.
Now you're talking about 50 potential senators that can walk out of the place with this. So this
Actually,
problem runs...
100.
100, sorry.
Yeah.
That runs deeper than what we even thought.
Yeah.
And what I would like, and it's actually, like Alyssa said, President Biden is a straight talker. It's what people love about him. Come out and just say...
Wow. We're still doing that, huh?
We're still playing the game.
Wow.
Good old Joe.
Hey,
I don't know what
problem
I
here-
got.
Straight talker. What will happen in Afghanistan? Historic airlifts. Man, that's straight talk.
I don't know what's going
Well,
on.
he did
but
say
we're gonna
he
figure
did
this
say he
out.
didn't know what he...
Part that
Jesus. I'm sorry, Alice. Yeah, I don't think that women should ever get the right to vote. I'm sorry.
Let me say this, though. I think it's very important to understand the difference between cooperation and obstruction.
Yes.
If Donald
So
Trump's
true.
lawyers had said, come in and
Good
investigate,
point.
we
There
are
goes the
inviting you
audience.
to Mar-a-Lago, he wouldn't have had to have a subpoena, and Mar-a-Lago would not have been raided. I also think Joe Biden needs to be sober, needs to be regretful, needs to be serious, needs to listen to these Democratic senators. And let me say this.
And his lawyers.
But let me say this. Democrats...
And his lawyer says idiot. His lawyers are the reason he's having the problem he's having right now.
And I love
And
the
his
logic.
lawyers.
Like,
He
well,
needs to protect
the
himself.
FBI wouldn't have to raid you if you would just let them come in and search you consensually. Like, as though that makes any freaking difference.
And by the way, Biden held on to this stuff for at least 6 years, maybe 50 years. So he needed the feds to come in and get it.
Yeah.
They just didn't realize that they needed. But he had this stuff. And by the way, if he didn't know he had it, why was it secured?
Good question. I don't know.
Huh.
Democratic senators are being truthful and have the cojones to criticize the sitting Democratic president.
Yeah.
Whereas every...
Cojones, dum-dum. They've got the knives out, the cojones. You think that Adam Schiff is suddenly just an honest, integrity-filled guy?
It's so brave. Biden could take any of them down.
God.
Republican kept saying, oh, it's just a witch hunt. Republicans won't even comment on the Long Island Lolita they've got in their midst. George Santos, they won't even say a word about...
Oh, I see.
Oh.
She came up with... She used to try to do that a lot to get on shows and CNN. She'd have a good, like, being... Remember when she did her nails one time when a Republican was speaking? She filed her nails. She's saying the Long Island Lolita. She's looking for her.
Lolita. I get
It's
it.
her.
Yeah.
It's her
Yeah.
viral moment. I'm not even sure if the guy represents Long Island, but doesn't matter.
Is that
Santos?
Is that a little bit homophobic too? Do we think?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's so little heft.
About that, whereas the number two guy in the number two Democrat in the Senate has the spine to criticize the sitting Democratic president, his friend and former colleague of 12 years.
I think it's Quitara. I think it's Quitara. I don't think it's Lolita.
This will
Let me say
The
this.
dumbs are at a loggerhead.
I don't know about this show. I don't know.
Come down
Maybe
to the
we
question
can't
of
go to The View for sober political analysis and legal understanding of the nuances of classified document protections. Do you think?
I think that you've got a problem with your gender, and that's why I think I want all trans men from now on to be on The View.
You mean trans women?
Whatever, fake women. That's what I want. That's what I want.
Okay.
Like Riley.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Riley was in court today, I think, right?
Riley was in court today. We heard from Riley's mother is a psychotic, by the way. We heard from her today, and this is just a couple of short cuts from Mom about Riley. Oh, sorry. Hold on. There we go.
Is Riley not guilty? Again, everything about this specific case, I refer you to my statement.
Is Riley not guilty? But your case statement doesn't talk about whether Riley is guilty. Your statement talks about the cycle of pain and love.
Mm-hmm. I love all my children and Riley dearly, but this is a difficult time.
Why are all the other children dragged into this? Riley's the dude who was attacking a cop. Who, by the way, was dressed mostly like a guy in court today. What an a-hole. What an a-hole.
Well, I don't know. I think Riley's not. Well, we've heard both that Riley's non-binary and that Riley's a daughter. So
Riley's even more different and special than the different and special people? Wow. Shocked.
I condemn violence against everyone, whether that is against police or against community members as a result of any person or government entity.
What does that really mean?
She means by police.
Right. The people police killed, which caused, rightfully, this kind of...
Which is why my son is out tagging on Boston Common and getting into fights with police officers.
Which is why he's a hero.
I have confidence that there will be an equitable and fair outcome.
Once again, I would just say I'm feeling some white privilege happening. If she wants an equitable outcome, well, then Riley should have had the tar beat out of him that day to match all the time that black suspects are beat up by cops, which they do all the time. Riley should be hurting today. Equitable outcome. Ugh. What else do you want to talk about? I want to change the topic. I want to get off politics.
Well, we didn't get to talk about tipping yesterday.
Oh, tipping it is. Let's do it. Go ahead. I don't even know the story.
Well, it's just this was a story that was in AP yesterday, but I've been seeing like more on this, and I'm sure you've
Hey, by the way, look out, Alice. Morgan's probably excited. He probably thinks it's cow tipping. Get it, Vermont? Get it?
I got it.
Yeah.
I'm sure Morgan's placed it.
You know there's a Morgan horse that's from Vermont?
I've heard that.
Wonder if Morgan knows.
Probably. So anyway, but the thing about this is that lately, like more and more places are doing these like touchpad checkout things. And part of the touchpad checkout is it allows you to leave a tip even at places where you normally wouldn't. Like normally you wouldn't have been able to leave a tip at a Starbucks, not just a cash tip, but like a tip on your actual tab. And at a lot of these places, like especially if they have a drive-through, the checkout person's like handing you the touchpad or you can like enter your tip amount. So it's this really awkward situation where it's like they're seeing if you're leaving a tip or not, and there's like suggested tips of like 10 and 15% for something you would not normally tip 10 or 15% for. Right, like just getting your coffee at Starbucks.
Right.
So, and this is becoming like more and more common, these digital payment methods where customers are being automatically prompted to leave a gratuity. And so a bunch of people are starting to say, like, this is really annoying. Like, I don't want to have social pressure to leave a tip everywhere I go.
Right.
Like, but there was this big AP article about it, and they asked, like, etiquette experts who basically said you can feel fine not tipping. But they also interviewed some of the workers who feel that you should feel obligated to tip.
Oh, is that audio that I have, or is that just quotes?
There is some audio. I'm not sure. It's kind of tough to look through, but anyway, so Dylan Schenker is one of them. The 38-year-old earns about $400 a month in tips, which provides a helpful supplement to his $15 an hour wage as a barista at a Philadelphia cafe located inside a restaurant.
How old is he again?
38. So the $400 a month is really a helpful supplement to his budget. So if you could continue to leave that. Most of those tips come...
Hey. I know that we spent a few extra bucks, but Dylan's so worth it.
Most of the tips come from consumers who order coffee, drinks, or interact with the cafe for other things, such as carry-out orders. The gratuity helps cover his monthly rent and eases some of his burdens while he attends graduate school and juggles his job.
You get extra stipend from me personally because you handed me that vessel of hot liquid from there to there.
Yes, but...
And you did it well.
But you'll be easing his burdens so that he can go to graduate school, which you're also going to be paying his loans for very shortly, I
He's
assume.
38. Love it.
Schenker says it's hard to sympathize with consumers who are able to afford pricey coffee drinks but complain about tipping. And he often feels demoralized when people don't leave behind anything extra, especially if they're regulars.
Feels demoralized?
Yes. It's demoralizing. It's hard to sympathize with you. Because
I didn't hand that coffee to you like a first year, you know.
It's hard to sympathize with people.
This is 18 years worth of coffee handing experience.
You can afford this $7 latte. I mean, like, you shouldn't really be complaining about
if you're at
easing
7,
my
you're
burden.
essentially already at 10. Let me make it easy for you. I'll just put it in myself.
Tipping is about making sure the people who are performing that service for you are getting paid what they're owed, said Schenker.
Who is this a-hole talking right now?
Dylan Schenker.
Oh, Dylan. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's Dylan. I don't know. 38 years old.
Who's been working in the service industry for roughly 18 years. Yes. Go ahead, honey. Yes.
I am somebody who has done every menial job.
Yes.
Else.
Yes. Did you feel you were getting paid what you were owed?
When I was delivering pizzas in Kentucky and Tennessee, for $2.50 an hour, no guaranteed tips.
Mm-hmm.
Alice, was I in the food industry?
You were?
I was, huh? Service industry for 18 years. He's been hanging on to the front-facing retail end of. He hasn't been working in the service industry. He doesn't know, what the economic impact the climate is having this season on the coffee beans part of the industry.
Right.
He has the hand you the thing that says you have to pay him more industry.
Yeah, he has write your name on the cup part of the industry.
We don't even know that. We don't know that.
He is in graduate school.
He could have cup burnout now. If you, anything more than a decade, usually they take you off cups.
Mm-hmm. So then this article this is from AP, by the way. It goes on to say, like, they, talk about a bunch of these things. So basically what Starbucks does is they add up all the tips for the day and then distribute it based on, like, the hours worked that day by each person.
Pool the tips, which isn't great because somebody like Dylan is like a Jedi now of putting the cap on and asking people if they need a tray and handing it to them. The first year, second years, they don't have that kind of grace that he has. He makes it rain, and the newbies are living off of his largesse.
I know.
So, by the way,
they also say that consumers are more likely to tip when they get a big, like, a takeout order or something. Like, if it's a bunch of stuff versus, like, they're less likely to tip just on their regular coffee.
Well, to be honest, because, like, the Dunkin' Donuts I go to is clutch, I wouldn't mind if they got an extra buck in there or whatever.
Right.
I'd be fine with it because, actually, they're Johnny on the spot. They're awesome. They make my life better
Right.
Rather than unlike somebody who just sucks and they're great.
Mm-hmm.
And here's another thing. I want to give a defense, and I rarely do this, a defense of Starbucks. I may have sent this to us like a month ago. I had done another Starbucks story, and I think it was out of Connecticut, but where the Starbucks employees hated this thing. And some of them were so embarrassed by it that they handed it while crouching down through the window or over the thing. They didn't want to hand
They didn't
somebody
want the
something.
person to feel that they could see whether or not they were tipping.
Well, they didn't want to like watch the person and say like for $1.64 coffee, I'm waiting for my gratuity that should be $3 to $7.
It's interesting because I bet this push is coming from Starbucks like trying to do something else for their employees because of all the unionization stuff.
I get it, but I mean...
But I also think that the more companies don't leave a spot to do a tip for a job that's not traditionally tipped, the consumers will appreciate that more.
If it doesn't leave a spot?
Yeah. Like,
Well,
I would much rather, given the option, go to a coffee place that doesn't give me an option to electronically leave a tip than one that does.
Okay. I mean, I wouldn't mind... I wouldn't mind an option to be able to do it, to be honest, because I just don't carry cash anymore. That said, like, there are times down the street from us, there's a pizza place, and I think it may have changed, but at the beginning of COVID, when it was all pickup, there was no tip option. I mean, you could leave cash if you had it, but other than that, there was no tip option, and I thought that sucked because we wanted to.
Yeah.
At the beginning, but I mean, but also like some of that stuff has changed. I mean, I think that tipping should be. I mean, I'm into always tipping. Almost, yeah. I don't think I ever stiff anybody unless like we've missed our mailman, but that's not because we're a-holes. It's because we've missed our mailman. I generally I think it's a good idea to take care of people. Generally, obviously, but this thing like first of all, Starbucks are not like normal people who work at coffee places. Starbucks people feel entitled. Derek feels that he's been in the food industry for 17 years. He feels that
How is he making
Dylan,
$15 an hour having worked in food service for 18 years? That's literally what I want to know because I feel like with that amount of
that's a slow climb.
I feel like with that level of experience and expertise, you should have like maybe moved up. He should be like a part-time key holder or something by now.
I mean, I
make
get the
a little
feeling
more. I don't know.
I get the feeling that they've been trying to tell him now for about 15 years that it's time to move off.
Well, maybe when he finishes his graduate degree, his lucrative career doing I don't know what will come to fruition.
Imagine that, having a barista who's demanding to get tipped, who's really profound at philosophy and like imparts it onto you every time you go in there. Oh.
Yeah. So then they quote somebody who should say like it should be on the company to pay their employees properly. Schenker, the Philadelphia barista, agrees to a certain extent. The onus should absolutely be on the owners, but that doesn't change overnight, he said. And this is the best thing we have right now.
There was a time in 1994 when I worked at the Hyatt Harborside in Boston, which was at that point brand new. It was in East Boston at Logan Airport, kind of a cool place. In my job, I had 2 jobs at the time. Worked at the Sonesta in Boston, Sonesta Hotel, and then my 3 to 11 job was at the Hyatt. Both places I was a banquet porter. I carried chairs and tables around, set up for functions, and I remember the general manager did this thing where like he would speak to each department one time a year, which always I know for a fact for him was a huge regret. So he comes and speaks to like the banquet porters, and I remember one of the guys saying, "Yeah, I got a problem here. Is that I can never." And these people. One of these guys I went to orientation with was like, wouldn't let it go when the woman said, "Yeah, anybody have any questions during our orientation?" I already was like halfway wanted to harm myself during orientation because they're like, "Remember, remember heart, hear, empathize, act, thank." It's like, oh, what am I doing with my life? So anyway, already I'm like, please just get orientation done. This is my like 3rd set of like polyester uniforms and name tags. I'm like, please. And one of the guys says, yeah, I just got a question about, I am licensed to carry a firearm, and am I able to bring the firearm into my locker during the shift? Oh, my God. And she was nice. She said, no, you're not allowed to do that. Can't bring any. He said, I do have a Class B license to carry in the state of Massachusetts. I am also registered in Vermont, but that doesn't do anything over here. I thought to myself, my God. Anyway, we're asking.
No such thing as a Vermont gun license.
Asking the GM. The GM's spending time, the general manager spending time, and I got these same people saying, yeah, my uniform always gets, is always wrinkled when I put it in my locker. Is there a way that we can do this? And I'm like, kill me. And the GM said, I remember him saying, well, you could take your pants and like roll them up, and they'll kind of stay compressed that way if you'd like to. When the kids say, oh yeah, I could do that. And then like the questions were like, yeah, I punch in for my break for lunch, and then if I punch in after 23 minutes, and it charges me for 30 minutes. And he's like, okay, you can just take that discrepancies to human resources. I could see him wanting to toss himself out of the 14th floor window, the GM.
Uh-huh.
And somebody else saying, yeah, notice that at coffee breaks, like I make, $12.05 an hour. I don't even know what we made. Maybe not even that then. Probably not even that, actually. And he said, yeah, the coffee break people, they make like $500 a week. So I mean, can't we get a piece of that gratuity and whatever? And he said, he said, no, those are two different departments. The coffee break people are in the food service business, and you roll tables. Essentially, he said that. And then another kid saying, yeah, I don't like how sometimes we're supposed to work overnights after functions are done and clear rooms out and then set them for the next morning. And is there a way that we could do it so that we can come in the morning? Because the third shift is like really tough. And I'm at the GM saying, you can get another job at the hotel. Guys, this is, what can I tell you? And like all the veneer was gone. He had it. He's like, guys, what can I tell you? If you want to do something else or get paid more or wear a better uniform or be front-facing or get into management, then there are opportunities. Just do this for a while and go and do something else, and the sky is the limit. It is whatever you can make it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
No, you can't bring your gun into work. I'm sorry about that, but you know what? Maybe there are places where you can. But it's like that. I guarantee you that talk, especially when he finally just blew up, today he'd be at HR gone for being insensitive.
Right.
People had questions about, but like, can't somebody take a walk and say, Dylan, walk with me. We can take our name tags off. Let's take a walk down the street and just say, just so you know, like nobody's just between you and I, and this is off the record. You're a loser. And you should leave this place because I don't care about... And you should not be talking to the Associated Press. You don't have anything to say, Dylan. You have nothing to say. You're named after a character on Beverly Hills 90210 who was cool for 4 years to your mother, who was obviously somebody who was drinking and very open to hooking up when she shouldn't have been. You've made several wrong choices in a row. There's nobody who should be here for 18 years, Dylan. Nobody should be here for 18 years. Okay? I understand you know the place like the back of your hand. You should never get to know the place like the back of your hand. It's not meant to be that place. Go. Fly away, Dylan. Fly away. It's like, Jesus. Do you think the people in corporate are like, I'm going to try to be there for 18 years? Or are they there to win every single day and make more money?
Of course.
It's like, jeez. 18. I hate Dylan now.
So,
Have
but
we
this
been on this whole
reminded me, yeah, this reminded me of our no tipping restaurant in Newburyport
Oh, yeah.
that I wanted to check up on. And so, if you recall, they were making a big deal out of how they were not going to have tipping because they were going to pay a living wage, and that would provide so much stability, and they wouldn't feel the need to get tips. And then, so they opened. I've been reading more news articles about them, and do you want to guess what they consider to be a living wage that's going to make it worthwhile for the waitstaff to not be tipped?
In Newburyport, United States?
In Newburyport, Massachusetts, yes.
30 grand.
What's that an hour?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, that's like $15 an hour. That's not. It's got to be.
$30 an hour? I don't know. What is the answer?
The answer is $19 to $22 an hour.
Oh, okay.
Which is essentially what I made washing dishes in the kitchen and like making pizzas at the brewery.
So if people don't know, Newburyport is like living kind of like in Beacon Hill. It's very expensive.
Yeah.
Very expensive. I mean, you could live up the street
In like Salisbury or
But yeah, it's
you can't. Nobody's living on $19-22 an hour. That's also way less than you can make in tips.
right.
Wouldn't you think?
Well, this time all the money then is going to the owner, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Money grab.
And I was looking at their menu, and it's not actually. It's kind of pricey, but it's not like crazy pricey. So like, the appetizers, the nachos are $17. Just like not crazy.
I mean, I'd have to see them, of course, to properly evaluate. But
the salads are like $16, $17.
It's Newburyport.
The burgers are like $15. So that's not crazy expensive,
No.
I feel like, for this area.
No, I'd rather go to Lord McGann's. What was it called?
Master McGrath's.
Master
That's our
McGrath's.
new favorite around here. Yeah. So I don't think it's crazy expensive, but I don't think they can possibly make money.
No.
And B, I don't think their wait staff is going to be making as much money as they could be if they were getting tipped.
Correct.
Because that's not even like a good salary, really.
Correct.
$19 to $22 an hour is like the standard in the restaurant industry for any role.
Right.
And the wait staff makes more. That's why people do it.
I've got a good tip for you.
Yes, what's the
Let's
tip?
do the Chelsea Fire Wicked Hot Sauce Hotline.
Yes, let's do it. Brought to you by Chelsea Fire Wicked Hot Sauce, which is a delicious and healthy hot sauce that Tom's allowed to eat that we can find at Market Basket Big Y, and they give 5% of the proceeds to the Fallen Firefighters Foundation.
Hey, Tom.
Hey.
Who said that was me doing Dudley Moore? Anyway, I was wondering if you threw up on that cop who pulled you over for a DUI. That'd be funny. What you doing here? Oh, you got vomit all over me now, yeah?
Ooh. Wow, that is a deflective attack on Morgan. Wow, takes the shot at the Vermont accent. Not bad either, actually, Justin. But
How does Morgan know about Vermont accents? I mean, how does Justin know about Vermont accents?
I don't know. We've got to get to the bottom of this. There's something afoot here. So here's my thing on that. I did not throw up in the cop. I was not plastered. I'm telling you, I wasn't. Just the truth. And Morgan's digging into it, as a matter of fact. We'll see.
I guess we'll see. I hope we get to see your mugshots soon. I'm excited.
Alex Jones here. Why can't we see DeMar Hamlin's face?
They show that, Alex. They showed it. I saw a clip of it today. During the game, they did show it. So he's not up to anything. Not up to anything. I am promising you that.
Oh, to be a fly on the wall and hear the inner workings of the burn barrel pod. Well, you don't have to be, because thankfully, you guys always keep the mics open, which I truly appreciate. I don't think you edit anything, if barely ever, and I think that's fantastic. Now, I do have to point out one thing, though. Yesterday, Alice wisely says, Tom, we got to wrap it up. We kind of gone over our limit to where people want to keep listening, and the battery's dying, so the quality of the recording may not be that good. And then Tom has to say, oh, hold on. I got to tell you about this time. Me and my friend Dave, who lived on such and such a street, committed this crime where we had an illegal firearm and we held up a liquor store, and Dave got away with, half the booty, but he never got caught. And you know what? The statute of limitations hasn't expired yet. No big deal. I'm sure we'll be okay. Oh, that is so beautiful. Keep it up.
Well, I think I'm okay with my stuff. I think I'm okay. All that stuff was in the early 90s now, so I think I'm okay. I don't know for sure, but,
A wise man once told me, a sure thing is not always the best thing. That man was George Hamilton Feeney. Love you, Feeney.
Is that true? George Hamilton Feeney. Wow, my mother was a fan of the George Hamilton. You know who that is, also?
Hi, Steve
Hey,
from Merrimack.
where the hell have you been? Hold the
Merrimack,
damn
we've
phone.
missed you.
I almost tried to find him today. Where's he been? Jesus.
Hi, Steve from Merrimack. Back after an extended sojourn trying to foment revolution and golf in the Dominican Republic.
Oh, very nice.
But anyway, Tom, the arm of the Boston Police that you were trying to think of during yesterday's show was the TPF, the Tactical Patrol Force. I don't know if anybody got back to you on that.
No,
but those were a wonderful bunch of guys who used to patrol the combat zone with enormous clubs, and they would hit first and ask questions later, which was beautiful. And I just can only imagine what they would have done with Catherine Clark's son/daughter. Thank you.
Yes, we need the TPF back. I am here. I fully. Nice to talk to you again, by the way, Steve. My
Good to hear from you. Yeah, we missed you.
We lost him for a second, Allison. I thought it was something I said. Oh, my goodness. Welcome back. Thank you so much, Steve. It's great to have you. Hold on. Phil, Alice.
What?
I'm
taking the kids to karate today, so that's all there was for messages?
Is there something else that you
I thought there was more when I looked, but maybe not. Maybe not.
Do you want to do
I don't know. It just looked like a lot.
I want to distribute
that's okay.
Justin's equally, Alice.
Okay, it's fine. I'm going to karate today, so maybe I'll see Brian at karate.
I thought there was more. Oh, you're going to see Brian today?
Maybe I'll see Brian at
He'll
karate.
He'll recognize you.
I hope so. You can leave us messages at burnbarrelpodcast.com.
C'est la vie.